What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, today we have a lot to talk about. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but there's a lot of things that are going to go into it. Now, for those of you that have seen all the rest of the videos prior in this series, if you want to just go ahead and skip to the targets and see what we shot today with the glass bedded stock, go ahead and do that. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. But I'm going to go ahead and do an overview over the series and everything that we've accomplished thus far. And I'm going to also do so to let the people that haven't seen the rest of the series know kind of what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish. So if you don't know what's going on, definitely watch the first part of this video and don't just skip to the results. And if you do know what's going on, do whatever you want. But anyway, let's get into it and let's get started. So this series was intended to be a bit of a rifle build. It's not going to be a full custom build or anything, but we started with a Thompson Center Compass, a stock rifle, chambered in .308 Winchester with a plastic stock. And this is the stock that came on the rifle. It's no longer the stock that's on the rifle, obviously, but this is what it came in, and this is what we did all the initial testing with. So it started out with us trying 3 different types of bullets, 2 different types of powder, 3 different types of brass. We did a little bit of load development in the beginning. Now, all of that is out of the way. So what we did was we tested 3 different loads, and we went through and did some load development on those loads using the 3 different bullets. We had 168 grain Hornady Zmax bullet, 150 grain Hornady soft point flat base bullet, and a 155 grain Palma Match King bullet. Some of those bullets may or may not have been optimized for this rifle. We didn't get into the real heavyweight stuff, and I intend to do that later. Actually, we're not done with this rifle, but we are done with this portion of the testing. This is kind of the conclusion of the upgrading the stock and seeing what happens. So anyway, we did all that testing with the plastic stock, right? Then, after we found the best load for each type of bullet, we went ahead and threw on this Boyd's Prairie Hunter stock, and it fit pretty good right off the bat. And we went ahead and shot the best loads from the previous testing with the plastic stock on the Boyd stock without glass bedding it, right? And we just shot 4 5-shot groups with the Boyd stock on there. We did the same thing with the plastic stock. I'm sorry if I forgot to mention that, but we did that with the plastic stock to kind of get an idea of what averages we would expect to see with the plastic stock, and then repeat the process with this one. So do that with the plastic stock, throw on the Boyd stock, shoot 4 5-shot groups with each of the loads, get an average of those, and then we're going to, or we have glass bedded the Boyd stock and then shot that same shot string all over again. So we did the load development, and then 60 rounds with the plastic stock, 60 rounds with the non-bedded stock, and then 60 rounds after it's been bedded. This has all been accomplished already. This is something that we've already done. I'm going to show you guys the targets from the glass bedded results here in just a moment. And you guys can kind of see the progression of what we've achieved over the entire series through a little bit of a conclusive overview here in a minute that I'm going to kind of talk to you about. But nonetheless, it has been pretty fun. It has been quite a ride, and I've really enjoyed doing this series. I hope that you guys have gotten something out of it and have enjoyed watching it, because it has been something, it's been a lot of work, I will admit that, and it's been quite a bit of resources going into doing this much shooting, because this gun has had hundreds of rounds put through it already. And honestly, it's just been a lot of shooting, but that's okay. I like shooting. It's fun, and I hopefully am being able to give you guys some value. So anyway, with all that being said, we're going to go ahead, we're going to go take a look at these targets, see what happened today, and then we're going to kind of discuss what we saw and why we may have seen the results that we've seen. So let's go hop over to the bench and see what we got. The first one I'm going to test out here is the 168 grain Zmax using 42.5 grains of Varget. This one has consistently been our worst performing load that we have used throughout this testing, and part of that is probably due to the fact that whenever we were trying to develop the load, the scope kept having issues sliding through the rings before we replaced the rings. But I picked a load out of the 2 different tests that we did that was consistently like the smallest, and decided to just go ahead and use that to do this part. I hate deer flies. I really do. This stupid thing. Oh goodness, it's just hot today. It's hot, it's muggy. Feels like it's gonna storm. The flies are eating me up. It's a nice day. Oh, I hate flies. All right, I'm gonna shoot our second batch of Zmaxes now. So just got done shooting all the Zmaxes, and I am moving on to the 150 grain Hornady soft point with the flat base. It's not the boat tail version, but anyway, I'm a little leery about shooting these 5-shot groups at this point, and I'm trying to avoid bringing that number back to like 3 or 4 because I've shot 5-shot groups through this whole series, so I really don't want to change that because I want to keep everything as consistent as possible. But the thing is, it was a lot cooler when I shot those other videos than it is now. It's windy, which doesn't help either, but it's also very hot and humid, so the barrel is heating up very quickly, and that concerns me because when I was shooting the Zmax, we were actually getting some decent groups, but then after like the 4th and 5th shots, it would like double the group size, which I'm not saying that we didn't see that before, but that may not be the bullets. That's probably just the barrel heating up, because when the 5th shot doubles your group, that's a sign your barrel might be getting a little hot. So I'm just gonna try to slowly shoot this next group in the hopes that if I let the barrel cool off a little bit between each shot, it'll kind of mitigate that a little bit, but there's only one way to find out. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it and see what happens. So unfortunately, I don't know if giving it a little bit of time between shots helped out very much or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep doing that because, like I said, the gun has been getting really hot. So I am just going to do it as kind of a precautionary thing, but I'm not gonna come off the gun because I don't want to lose my cheek weld between shots, just in case that, you know, screws something up. So I'm gonna just try to go slow and be careful with my shots and try not to flinch, because I have already fired, let's see, 75 rounds of 308 today, so I'm starting to have a little bit of soreness right here in my face. So it's hard not to flinch, but I'm trying to be disciplined and just hope that I can get through this without throwing off my shots with shooter error. So the gun's cooled off. We're gonna go ahead and start on our second group with the 150 grain soft points. Oh man, my earmuff came off. I really think that God might be sitting in a room with his friends right now, like watching TV, like, hey guys, watch this. And as soon as I'm about to shoot, there's a huge gust of wind. Like, I'm getting that vibe today. This is ridiculous. I can't believe it's not storming right now. It's so freaking windy. All right, this third batch of the 150 grain soft points we're about to shoot. The wind is just ridiculous today. I mean, I don't know what the deal is, but this past couple weeks the wind has just been horrendous, and I don't have much time left to do low development, so I have to do it today, which I hate to do low development on a day that's so windy, but, or I mean really any kind of precision shooting, but you gotta work with what you got. So it looks like the Hornady soft points are grouping better than the Zmax bullets overall, which I expected, but I was hoping to see them group better than they are grouping. But anyway, we're gonna shoot this last group, go change out our target, and then start on the 155 grain Sierra Palma Match Kings. But these I was hoping to see a little bit better results with, but I'm not sure if the wind is actually causing some of this horizontal spread that we're seeing, but it is what it is, you know. There's not a whole lot we can do about it. Either way, we're gonna keep shooting, and I'm trying to shoot between wind gusts, but there's only so much I can do in terms of the wind being an issue. All right guys, we got our last batch of loads. This is for all the marbles here, and of course it is the Sierra Match King. So if we can't get these to shoot good, even though it's a windy day, you know, I get that, this whole test has kind of gone down the crapper. The hope was that we'd go from plastic stock to Boyd stock, see a little improvement in accuracy, and then see an even higher improvement in accuracy after we bedded it. Now, I can't necessarily say that that has been the trend, but you know, that's the whole point of the test. However, the Zmax kind of didn't really have a chance in hell. That thing has shot like crap through this whole test, so I didn't really expect to see a ton of improvement with that one. The soft points, I was hoping we were gonna have closer to inch groups, but the Palma, I think they should be around an inch, if not under an inch. That's my hope. Now, if they don't shoot under that, then I'm definitely going to consider doing like a lot of low development on a bunch of different bullets to try to find something this gun likes, because I expect this thing to be able to shoot pretty good with something. I don't know what it is yet. Every gun has its own preference, but I hope this one shoots a Palma's good. If not, we'll try something else out. It's no big deal, but I just want you guys to have something to take from this video. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and shoot this, see how it does, and then we will get back to the bench and measure everything up and see how we did. All right guys, last one up is the 155 grain Sierra Palma Match King. So, a little canopy that I got going on here doesn't quite cover the back of my legs, and I've been shooting pretty much all day, so my legs are sunburned like a mother because I did not put any sunscreen on my legs. Didn't even think about it. I thought, nah, I'll be good. I got a roof which is caving in slightly, and I definitely am gonna regret that later because I am starting to realize how warm my legs are. So I'm gonna be sleeping not too great tonight, but that's my fault. All right, that's our second string down. Gonna go mark the target. All right, we got our third group here with the Sierra Match Kings. Then once we fire this one and the next one, we will be done and we can check out our targets. Okay, so we got our last batch of the Sierra Match Kings, and then we are done for the day in terms of shooting, at least. And then we'll go check out these targets and do all that fun stuff. All right, guys, we're officially done. Let's go check out these targets. All right, guys, the moment we've all been waiting for is finally here. So we got the stock glass bedded and we have fired our shots and we have some results and data to go over. So let's jump right into it. So the first target we're going to take a look at here was using the 168 grain Zmaxes. And just to be clear here, the reason there is a Sony lens cap sitting here is because that group right there was fired with the Sierra Palma Match Kings. And I wanted to make sure that you didn't think that was one of the Zmax loads. So just to be clear, I'm covering that up just so you don't confuse it as one of the Zmax loads. So that one is separate. Anyway, the load that we used on this target was using PPU or Prairie, however you want to say it, large rifle primer brass. It was using 42.5 grains of Varget, 168 grain Zmax bullets, and the CCI number 200 large rifle primers. The group average overall on this target ended up being 1.918 inches. And we'll go ahead and go over each individual group size. So these are labeled with numbers, but that doesn't necessarily mean this one was shot first and then this one was shot second. They're just for me to remember that these were the Zmax rounds and then that was excluded. So anyway, just keep that in mind. But anyway, we got 1.649 inches for one of them, 2.689 inches for another, 1.660 inches, and 1.672 inches. So like I said, this all averages out at about 1.918 inches for the Zmax load. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Hornady soft points and see if they did any better. All right, so next up we have the 150 grain Hornady soft point loads, which consisted of Winchester large rifle primer brass, 150 grain Hornady soft points. They're a flat base bullet, 45.5 grains of Varget, and number 200 CCI large rifle primers. Now this one was pretty close to pretty much all the rest of the results that we've gotten with this bullet. It never really varied too much. The soft points were fairly, I think actually probably the most consistent out of this entire series. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into each individual group size. So first off, we have 1.725 or 15 inches. Honestly, I'm not even sure if that's a 1 or a 2. I think it's a 2, but we'll go ahead and go with a 2. So 1.725 inches, 1.892 inches, 1.315 inches, and 1.057 inches. Now, considering what we've seen in the past with this gun through the rest of the series, that's actually not that bad in terms of consistency. Those were not too shabby groups, but we'll go into more detail as to some of the variants that you may see throughout, particularly this test and some of the other ones, especially with the fact that we glass bedded this rifle, but we'll go into that more in detail here in a minute back at the bench. But anyway, overall, we grouped about 1.497 inches for the Hornady soft point, which is about kind of what we were expecting in all honesty. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the Sierra Palma Match Kings and see how they did. All right, so last up we have the 155 grain Palma Match King, and the load that we used for this one was Starline large rifle primer brass, 155 grain Palma Match Kings, 43.5 grains of IMR 4895, and number 200 CCI large rifle primers. The groups on this one were not too shabby. They were fairly consistent as well, but the group average ended up being about 1.540 inches. So let's go ahead and dive into each individual one. The first one was 1.912 inches. We had 1.244 inches, 1.556 inches, and 1.449 inches. These are all 5-shot groups, as we've done throughout the rest of the test. And I'll go more into detail as to what everything is looking like here and what kind of conditions we were shooting in and whatnot, and why we may have seen some of the results that we've seen. So if you're more interested as to going in depth on all this and kind of getting more into the weeds on everything, stick around and we'll talk about it here in a minute. So let's go ahead and get back to the bench. All right, so now that we've seen the results, I tried to keep that part of the video pretty simplistic and not go too in depth as to why the groups may have done what they've done. But here's the deal. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over what we saw as an average with the plastic stock, with the Boyd stock, and then the bedded Boyd stock. So with the plastic stock, averaging out all the groups into one number, okay, so all 60 shots into one number, we got 1.472 inches. All right, now I'm going to try to throw up some numbers here to make it better for visual clarity so you guys can actually see per each test that we did exactly how much bigger the numbers got, which is, bear with me. So with the plastic stock, that's what we got. With the Boyd stock, non-bedded, we did that same shot string, 60 rounds, and we got 1.628 inches with the Boyd stock, all right? And then today, we bedded the Boyd stock and shot 60 rounds, once again, and we got 1.652 inches. Let that sink in for a minute, okay? The intent of this video series was to watch the accuracy improve every time we modified the gun, okay? So what's funny is that it didn't improve. It degraded. Now, before you guys go into thinking, oh, he put on the stock and the accuracy got worse. Here's the thing. There's a lot of things that have changed. I tried to keep as many variables down as I can, but there's some things that are outside of my control. So a few of those things are weather. We're going into summer here. It's gotten hotter, all right? It's gotten significantly hotter. We started the series in the spring shooting when it was cool and we didn't have to worry as much about barrel heat, all right? It is no longer the case that we don't have to worry about barrel heat because it has gotten pretty freaking warm. The humidity's up and the barrel heat has definitely become a problem. However, I wasn't gonna switch over to 4 or 3 shot groups, okay? Because I wanted to keep everything, like I said, as consistent as possible, as few variables as I could include. So 5-shot groups, same loads, everything has been maintained throughout the series as best I can with some of the problems that you may see in the earlier videos if you watch those, or if you go back and watch them later, you'll see what I'm talking about. But aside from those, everything's been as consistent as I can make it, including myself, which may be the only thing that actually impacted these numbers. Because like I said, we shot all these under the same conditions as much as we could, excluding the weather, but the loads are all the same, and I was the only real, true biggest variable probably, aside from the heat. But, sorry, I'm getting kind of redundant. Anyway, the point is, the accuracy actually opened up a little bit each time, but it was very, very minute. So if you look at the difference between the first and the second test, it was 0.156 inch as an increase in the group size. It was getting warmer. And then we had a 0.024 inch increase from the second to the third test. So with that being said, the accuracy really hasn't changed. It's pretty much remained the same, but I fully intend to continue doing load development with this rifle, and I also fully intend to see some sub-minute 5-shot groups out of this thing at some point once I find what it likes to eat. We haven't touched on the heavy bullets yet, and that's what people are telling me I need to try. So I'm going to be putting some heavy rounds, or I'm sorry, rather heavy bullets through this on the next test probably, and I'm going to include that in this series, although the series has essentially been concluded with terms of changing out the stock to see what kind of impact that would have on the accuracy of the rifle. So that part is done, but we're still going to do plenty of testing with this rifle for those of you that are interested in watching that load development. And also we're probably going to be doing some different kinds of load development. I've tried out some Satterlee load development and I actually really liked what I saw with that and got some pretty interesting results. So we're probably going to do a little bit of that with this gun too and kind of incorporate that into what we've already been doing. But anyway, that pretty much concludes this video. So what we've seen is modifying the gun has not changed the accuracy that much. It actually opened up the groups a little bit, but I don't know if that was the gun or if that was just the heat. I may shoot some of those groups again just for the sake of curiosity when it's colder out, but we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. So anyway, I'm going to continue testing with this gun. I would like to turn it into a pretty decent hunting rifle. It's a tad bit heavy. It's not really light, but it's not the heaviest gun either. I've definitely carried heavier, but it'll make a pretty decent gun, I think, especially for hunting. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you got something out of this video. We may go more into barrel harmonics and all of that stuff too. That may have been another impact on the accuracy. What was accurate in the plastic stock may just not be accurate when the gun's glass bedded because the harmonics change. But like I said, that may be a little too in the weeds for this video because we could talk all day about that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to include it in this video, but it is something that you may look into, or we may look into rather later on. But again, thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of this. If you guys like this video, please let me know. Any questions, comment below. I'm always trying to answer as many questions as I can within my ability. I don't know everything, but I will try to give you what I do know, and you know, I'll tell you where you can find it out from someone who's a little more professional than myself otherwise, if I can. So anyway, I'm doing my best here. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and like I said, any questions, let me know. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel so that I know that you're interested, and check out the rest of the videos in the playlist if you haven't seen those yet and want to find out more about this series. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you next time. Y'all take it easy and shoot straight. That black coffee is good stuff, let me tell you. Thin blue line right here. This is the good stuff. Oh man, I am a fan. I am very